The tax reform bill, currently under review by the National Assembly and expected to be passed in the first quarter of this year, continues to spark nationwide discourse. A coalition of northern women's groups has raised concerns in Kano State, emphasizing the need for lawmakers to prioritize the interests of Nigerians while moving forward with the reform bills. Now, while they express support for the reforms, the coalition urges legislators to ensure that the final bill is equitable and addresses the economic needs of all Nigerians. Abdulaziz Ibrahim has more from Kano.
The coalition of northern women groups urged the federal government to ensure inclusivity in the ongoing tax reform process to ensure that no group is shortchanged.
The policies do not exist in isolation. They are shaped by the people themselves. Let us ensure that this reform bill serves all men, women, rich and poor, urban and rural. Together, we can build a Nigeria where every woman, regardless of her circumstances, has the opportunity to thrive.
Although many attendees said they are unaware of how the tax reform bill will affect their lives, particularly in relation to consolidated taxes, concerns have been raised on the potential consequences of the changes.
Most of them do not really know much about the tax reform bill. But to the glory of God Almighty, they are now aware that issues concerning the tax reform bill is very important that their voices are heard. We want it to be on record that we are not totally against the reform bill, but we are saying that let the crafters of the bill spread out their consultation, especially to the grassroots. Let them hear the voice of the grassroots.
As the bill advances in the National Assembly, citizens hope lawmakers will prioritize their interests.
Nobody had ever condemned this tax reform bill in totality. We believe there are some parts of it that are for the benefit of Nigeria and Nigerians, and there are some parts of it that are detrimental and has detrimental consequences on Nigeria and Nigerians. For instance, we are still not comfortable with the VAT at the rate of 7.5%. Why will you collect taxes? Why will you collect VAT at the rate of 7.5% while we are suffering in the critical economic hardship that Nigerians are suffering? Let me remind you that today Nigeria peoples are no longer enjoying the situation they are.
It is not yet over because the National Assembly have their own role to play. The governors have done their own, but the National Assembly have to come back to ensure that other areas that are still there, that will require, a very, kind of modification, they should play that role. Because if they don't, they should be very, very conscious that citizens have now woken up. They are not going to take irresponsibility, from their representatives, and that every person should play his role to begin to make the country to come back to track, so that we begin to remedy some of the ills that have affected this country.
With the tax bill slated for passage in March and implementation by July, citizens expect fair resource distribution. The hope is that reforms will improve all sectors of Nigerian life and lead to better governance. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.